Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about men and the way they show they miss someone. Now, men are not always the best at saying what they feel. Sometimes they act, and it's subtle, but if you pay attention, you can see it. There are 4 silent signals that a man sends when he secretly misses you, and if you catch these, you'll understand him better than he thinks you do. You ever notice how a man who misses you doesn't always come out and say it? He doesn't text, "I miss you," because some men just don't operate that way. But you can see it in the little things he does. That unexpected text, that call for no reason at all, that moment when he pops up in your life in the smallest way possible, that's him missing you. He's trying to connect without admitting the depth of what he feels, because men, a lot of times, they don't want to seem vulnerable. So instead, they reach out in ways that may seem casual, but are really deliberate. Think about it. You get a text in the middle of the day. Maybe it says, "Hey, thought about you." Nothing more, nothing less. That's not just a text. That's a signal. That's him letting you know that you're on his mind, that he's thinking about you when he doesn't have to. And here's the thing, men don't waste words on things that don't matter to them. If he's taking the time to reach out just to touch base, it means he feels something strong, and he's hoping you'll feel it too. He's giving you a breadcrumb to follow, to let you know you're missed without having to come right out and say it. And it's not just texting. It's the little gestures that get overlooked. Maybe he sends a meme that reminded him of a joke you shared, or maybe he drops by just to say hi when he knows you're around. It's all calculated, even if he doesn't realize it himself. Men are funny that way. They don't like admitting feelings, but their actions betray them every single time. If you're paying attention, you'll see the pattern. These small acts are his way of bridging the gap that distance or time has created. Sometimes it's even in his voice. When he calls, there's a certain tone, a warmth, a hesitation before he says anything. And if you listen closely, it's filled with meaning. He's trying to hear your laugh, your voice, the sound that reminds him why he misses you. And then there's the timing. He doesn't always call at convenient times. He calls when he feels the absence of you most acutely, when he can't help but want to connect. That's him sending silent signals. And if you recognize them, you understand more than words could ever tell you. A man who misses you will find ways to make his presence felt even when he can't physically be there. And you've got to understand this. Those gestures are priceless. They're not accidental. He's putting himself out there, but in a way that keeps him safe, because men often fear rejection or vulnerability. So every small message, every little check in, every fleeting effort to connect, it all counts. It's his heart speaking in ways he can't quite say with words. And if you notice it, you see the truth. He misses you more than he's willing to admit. When a man misses you, he remembers the little things about you that most people would forget. Now, you might think men don't pay attention, but when they care and when they feel that pull of missing someone, they notice the tiniest details. Maybe it's the way you laughed at a joke once, or how you liked your coffee, or that one thing you said in passing that seemed small at the time. He keeps those moments tucked away in his mind because they remind him of you. And when he misses you, he pulls them out like treasures. That's how his heart talks through memory. And it's not just about what you said, it's the moments you shared that he carries with him. Maybe it was a trip, a dinner, or even a conversation that lasted hours. He thinks back to those times because they were special, and when he's not around you, he craves that connection. A man might text you something that refers to a joke you made weeks ago, or bring up a detail from a conversation you barely remembered. It's his way of saying, I'm thinking of you. You're important to me. I miss you. You might brush it off, but that's a signal. That's him silently telling you that your presence lingers in his mind long after you're gone. Now, men don't always express their feelings directly. They might act distracted or seem casual, but behind that casual act is someone who is remembering everything about you. He's holding on to the details because they make him feel close to you even when you're apart. That's why sometimes you'll get a message or a comment that seems random, but actually has weight. Maybe he texts, remember that time, and then recounts a memory only the two of you share. That's not small talk. That's him reaching out through memory, trying to recreate the closeness he feels when you're near. And here's the thing, these memories aren't just nostalgia. They're a bridge. Every little thing he remembers is a way for him to feel your presence when he can't be with you physically. He might remember the way you smiled at a particular moment, the words you said that made him pause, or the way you handled something that impressed him. These aren't just trivial details. They're his way of staying connected, a silent signal that you matter, and that absence is weighing on him more than he's willing to admit. When a man does this, it's his heart speaking in the language he understands, memory and attention. You might not hear him say, I miss you, but the evidence is in what he remembers and what he brings up. If you're paying attention, you'll see it. Those little reminders, those callbacks to things you thought were forgotten, that's his way of showing longing without ever using the word miss. That's how a man quietly, secretly, and sincerely tells you that you're in his thoughts and that he wishes you were there with him. Sometimes when a man misses you, he doesn't lean in closer the way you expect. Instead, he pulls back just a little, and that's where people get confused. They think distance means disinterest, but that's not always true. For a lot of men, distance is protection. When he starts missing you more than he's comfortable admitting, he doesn't always know how to handle that feeling. So he masks it. He jokes more. He acts cooler than usual. He might even seem distracted or emotionally guarded. But that behavior isn't absence. It's restraint. Men are taught not to expose their emotions too easily. So when missing you starts to make him feel vulnerable, he tries to manage it by controlling how much he shows. He may tease you more than usual, make light comments, or pretend everything is fine when it's not. That's his way of keeping the upper hand while his heart is doing something completely different. Inside, he wants closeness, but on the outside, he's trying not to reveal how deeply he feels it. That inner conflict creates tension, and that tension shows up in subtle ways. You might notice that even when he seems distant, he's still watching you closely. He notices your mood. He reacts quickly when something changes. He listens carefully to your tone, even when his words sound casual. That's because pulling back doesn't mean he stopped caring. It means he's trying to regulate how much he cares without losing control. When a man misses you, sometimes the hardest thing for him is admitting how much space you occupy in his heart. And here's where it gets interesting. His distance often pulls you closer, not because he's manipulating you, but because the emotional gap creates curiosity. You sense that something is there, something unsaid. That's not accidental. His energy shifts. And even if he doesn't verbalize it, you feel it. You can tell he's holding something back. That holding back is the signal. It's him saying, if I let this out, you'll see how much I miss you, and I'm not ready for that. Sometimes this shows up as inconsistency. One day he's warm, present, engaged. The next day he's quieter, more reserved. That push and pull isn't confusion, it's emotion management. He's trying to balance his need for connection with his fear of exposure. Men don't always know how to sit comfortably with longing, so they try to soften it by creating a little emotional distance. But make no mistake, that distance still carries you in it. He's not gone. He's thinking. He's feeling. He's trying to figure out what missing you means and what to do with it. And if you pay attention to the patterns instead of the silence, you'll see it clearly. The way he pulls back just enough to protect himself while still staying connected is one of the clearest signs that you matter more to him than he's ready to say out loud. When a man misses you, his mind has a habit of traveling backward. He goes back to moments you shared, conversations you had, and experiences that made him feel something real. He may not announce it, but he revisits those memories quietly, and when he does, he often brings them back up to you. That's not random. That's longing disguised as reflection. When he starts talking about that time or reminds you of something that happened months ago, he's letting you know that those moments are still alive inside him. Men relive memories differently than women. They don't always talk about emotions directly, but they attach emotions to events. So when he brings up a past moment, he's really bringing up the feeling he had when he was with you. Maybe it's a laugh you shared, a challenge you overcame together, or even a quiet moment that didn't seem special at the time. To him, it was. And when he misses you, his mind returns there because that's where he felt connected, comfortable, and understood. Sometimes he'll bring these memories up casually as if they don't mean much. He might laugh them off or make a joke about them, but don't let the tone fool you. The fact that he remembers and chooses to mention them tells you everything. Men don't dwell on the past unless it matters. If he's revisiting memories with you in them, it's because he's trying to recreate the emotional closeness he felt in those moments. He's reaching for something familiar because your absence has created a gap he doesn't know how else to fill. You might notice that these memories come up during unexpected moments, late at night, during quiet conversations, or when he's feeling reflective. That's when missing someone hits the hardest. In those moments, he's less guarded, and his heart speaks more freely through recollection. He might ask, "Do you remember when?" Not because he's nostalgic, but because he wants to know if those moments still matter to you the way they matter to him. Revisiting the past is also his way of testing emotional connection. He's checking to see if you still feel the bond, if the memories still spark something between you. If you respond warmly, he feels closer. If you don't, he feels the distance even more. That's why these moments are important. They're not about living in the past. They're about measuring the present through what once was. When a man keeps bringing up shared memories, it means he's carrying them with him. They're not just stories, they're emotional anchors. And every time he revisits them, he's quietly telling you that those moments still hold weight, that your presence in his life left a mark, and that missing you has sent him back to the place where he felt most connected to you. When a man misses you, something shifts in the way he looks out for you, even if he's not physically present. He becomes more protective, more attentive, and more concerned about your well-being in ways that feel subtle but consistent. He might check in more often, asking if you're okay or if you made it home safely. He might offer advice you didn't ask for, or stir or step in when he senses you're stressed. That's not control, that's care. And care is one of the clearest signals that missing you has activated something deeper inside him. Men express emotion through responsibility. When a man feels connected to you, and especially when he feels the absence of you, his instinct is to protect what he values, even from a distance. He wants to know you're safe, supported, and stable. So he asks questions not to pry, but to reassure himself that you're all right. He may not say, "I miss you," but every check-in is his way of staying emotionally close when he can't be physically close. Sometimes this protection shows up as concern about your choices. He might warn you about something, remind you to be careful, or tell you he doesn't like the idea of you handling certain things alone. On the surface, it may sound casual or even unnecessary, but underneath it is a man who feels responsible for you in some way. That sense of responsibility doesn't appear out of nowhere. It comes from attachment, it comes from caring, and it often grows stronger when he feels your absence. You might also notice him becoming more alert to the people and situations around you. He listens carefully when you talk about your day, picks up on potential problems, and reacts when he senses discomfort or risk. That awareness is not accidental. It's his mind staying engaged with your life because your life matters to him. Missing you makes him want to stay connected to your world, even if he can't step into it the way he wants to. What's important to understand is that this protective behavior isn't about possession. It's about presence. He's trying to remain present in your life in whatever way he can. When a man misses you, the hardest part for him is feeling disconnected. Protection becomes his workaround, It allows him to feel useful, involved, and emotionally invested without having to openly admit how much he longs for closeness. And when he shows this kind of concern consistently, it's not casual. Men don't invest energy where they feel nothing. Every question, every reminder, every moment of concern is him saying, "You matter to me even when I'm not there." That protective instinct is one of the quietest but strongest signals that he misses you, because it comes from a place of attachment that doesn't fade just because distance exists. When a man misses you, he will find a reason to be close to you even when there really isn't one. He doesn't always show up saying, "I needed to see you." Instead, he creates situations that place him back in your orbit. He comments on something you posted, reacts to a picture, asks a question he already knows the answer to, or suddenly remembers something he forgot to tell you. These aren't coincidences. These are calculated comforts. He's trying to feel near you without exposing how much distance is bothering him. Men struggle with absence. When someone matters to them, silence becomes loud, so they reduce that silence in small, manageable ways. He may not stay long in the conversation, but he opens the door just enough to feel connected. A quick message, a short call, a brief appearance. It's not about the length of interaction, it's about proximity. He just wants to know you're still there, still reachable, still part of his world. Sometimes this shows up as him appearing where you are, not in an obvious way, but subtly. He might show up at a place he knows you frequent, attend an event he normally wouldn't, or suddenly take interest in something connected to you. He won't announce his intentions, but his presence will say everything. That's him closing the gap, even if only for a moment. Missing you creates a restlessness in him, and being near you, even briefly, calms it. You might also notice him lingering. He doesn't rush off the phone. He lets the conversation stretch. He pauses before hanging up. He stays engaged just a little longer than necessary. That hesitation is important. That pause is him savoring the closeness. Men don't linger where they don't feel something. When he misses you, every second of connection becomes valuable, even if he pretends it's casual. And here's the part many people overlook. He may disguise this need for closeness as convenience. He'll say things like, "I was already in the area," or "I just thought I'd check in," or "I figured I'd stop by real quick." But the truth is, he planned it, not in a manipulative way, but in an emotional one. His heart led him there before his logic caught up. Missing you pushes him toward you even when he tries to play it cool. This behavior can also show up digitally. He watches your stories, reacts consistently, responds faster than usual, and stays aware of what's happening in your life. He may not always say much, but he stays present. That presence is intentional. He wants to feel involved. He wants to feel connected. Distance makes him uneasy, so he maintains a line of access to you. That access gives him comfort. What's powerful about this signal is that it's driven by desire, not obligation. He doesn't have to show up. He doesn't have to engage. He chooses to. And choice is everything. Men move toward what they want. When he misses you, his actions align in subtle ways to keep you within reach. Even when he doesn't say it, even when he avoids heavy conversations, he makes sure the door between you is never fully closed. Sometimes he'll test the closeness. He'll see how you respond, how open you are, how available you seem, not because he's playing games, but because he wants reassurance. Missing you creates uncertainty, and closeness reduces it. Every interaction becomes a small check in for his heart, a way to measure whether the connection still exists. And the key thing to understand is this: men don't chase feelings they don't care about. If he's making excuses to be near you, to talk to you, to stay connected in any form, it's because being without you feels heavier than he expected. He may not have the words, he may not be ready to admit it, but his behavior tells the story clearly. He keeps finding his way back to you because missing you has made distance uncomfortable, and closeness, even in small doses, feels like relief.